Hello, friends. Welcome into Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey here with some fairly significant and, for the first time in what feels like a long time, some good news, at least potentially, around the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is expected to practice today and this week. Now, it might be on a limited basis, but that is a very positive sign for Lamar and for the Ravens, who has been dealing with an ankle injury as of late, and that's at least part of the very long list of reasons why the Ravens are currently on a 4-game losing streak. Lamar Jackson has been the engine that drives the Ravens offense for years now. Well, the offense has been decent, if not outright good, in his absence. There's no doubt Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback on this team. Now, if you want Lamar Jackson to play this week, let's send some good vibes out into the universe, which the Ravens really, really need right now. Like the video if you want Lamar Jackson to play this week. Go do it right now. Lamar's interceptions have been an issue this year. I think you could even argue to some extent he'd been in a little bit of a slump even before that ankle injury. He didn't have his best stuff, before he got hurt against the Browns, of course. And then the Steelers, he was okay in that game. Was not good in when they beat the Browns back in November. Not great against the Dolphins because the Ravens can't design an offense to beat the blitz for whatever reason. But before that, he'd been getting some, I thought maybe not the most due, but some MVP hype there. And of course, with no great ground game to speak of, Lamar Jackson was still on pace to blow past the 1,000-yard rushing mark like he so frequently finds a way to do. Now, in the event that Lamar Jackson cannot go, in theory, Tyler Huntley, and I think it's less of a theory, more of a likelihood, he'll be activated from that COVID-19 list. He'll be back, and hey, there's always the ultimate journeyman in the NFL, Josh Johnson, who can step up if needed for Baltimore. He did throw for 304 yards, had some untimely turnovers. 21 points, not bad. Hoping for a bit more. Also, you're not going to win games when you allow 41. So, tough to blame the quarterback for that particular loss. And, hey, Tyler Huntley played pretty well in the Lamar Jackson absence. The dual threat helps out there. Pretty accurate, made some nice plays. Also had some untimely turnovers. But I think you make a real argument that defense is a big reason why the Ravens are on this losing streak, not so much the offense. But still, when you have a player like Lamar Jackson, let's not be crazy here, you want him back out there. So will Lamar Jackson play this week for the Ravens? Type in Y for yes or N for no. Let me know what you guys have to say here in the comment section. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So that ad break comes, take advantage of it. Head down there, Y for yes, N for no. More injury notes here. This one not as promising. Anthony Averett, who has been the de facto cornerback 1 at points this year because of the just unbelievably voluminous number of injuries for the Ravens this year, is now dealing with a reported fractured rib. And that's not fun to play through. It is unclear on Wednesday if he will be able to play in Week 17. The Ravens, as we'll get into, decimated by injuries and COVID issues at cornerback this year. That has pressed AA into a starting cornerback role, and the plan was for him to be like, maybe CB 4 or 5 if you include Tylan Young in the nickel role there above him. Solid numbers, a lot of yards. He's been one of the most targeted corners in the NFL. Again, why throw at Marlon Humphrey when you can throw at Anthony Averett instead? A couple TDs allowed, a lot of yards. It's okay for the volume of targets he's had in the end. It's not the end of the world from that perspective. He's been at minimum serviceable, if not a nice piece for Baltimore. To go in depth on this cornerback room, it's unbelievable what they've dealt with this year. Averett now with being banged up. Chris Westry, Amon Marshall, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith now back from his own COVID issues. All of those guys have missed time this year. In reality for Baltimore, cornerback 1, cornerback 2, cornerback 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the outside have all missed time. And which is crazy because Tylan Young was the injury-prone guy entering this year, and he's been pretty healthy. It's just bad luck, frankly, for Baltimore at this point. It got so bad they had to call up Daryl Worley And he didn't play well, but of course he didn't play well. You're signing dudes off the street to start for you at corner. Bad things happen. Frankly, I'm not totally kidding on this next part. Did someone do some weird voodoo curse on Baltimore? This level and number of injuries and COVID issues is very, very rare for any NFL team, and it should probably make you take a look at your training staff and go, okay, are we doing things right here, or did something get wrong? Because this shouldn't happen this much. Are they cursed? I mean, kind of, yeah. 1 for yes, 0 for no. Folks, you Ravens fans out there, this is the best deal we ever were able to find with our friends over at Fanatics. This t-shirt and hat combo, $20. Do you know how difficult it is to find an officially licensed NFL t-shirt or hat for just $20? It's almost unheard of. Now you can get both of them for $20. Chatsports.com/Ravens combo. It is 50% off for a limited time only. These always sell out like that, so don't delay. Head to the comment section, the description. I put that link in there for you guys at chatsports.com/Ravens combo. I want to spend some time now on the young wide receiver core for Baltimore as they got some run with Devin Duvernay out and let's call it what it was, Sammy Watkins being benched, frankly, although he was coming back from COVID, but still. Marquise Brown, Rashod Bateman got the volume of the work, the most volume, and James Proche and Tylan Wallace also heavily involved in this particular matchup for the Baltimore Ravens. It's a very interesting rotation and usage for Baltimore. The snap counts, right? Brown, 54%. Rashod Bateman, 48%. James Proche, not percent, that's just the number, I'm an idiot. James Proche, 28, and Tylan Wallace, 27. We'll come back to James Proche last because I want to save the most time for him there. We'll go to Marquise Brown, the snap count leader, who is supposed to be the long-term, young, reliable piece for the Baltimore Ravens, and he didn't have his best game against the Bengals, but he's probably the one I think you feel the most confident about short-term and long-term because we've seen him have some success. Proche, we'll go to him now, actually. Great job there, producer Marshall, getting that fixed. Good job, bud. Had one of his best games ever. 8 targets, 7 catches, 76 yards. I was very impressed by Proche, and I think when Devin Duvernay comes back, he'll still be the guy, but that's a good development there. Rashod Bateman got in the end zone. Only 5 targets, 4 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown. Again, Mark Andrews feasted so much that it was, you're not really too concerned about the total volume there. Marquise Brown was okay in this game. 5 catches, 44 yards. Tylan Wallace only had 1 catch, but it was a nice one, 18 yards. My point here is this, to kind of drive it home, right? The Ravens actually have a pretty good young receiving core. Not to mention Mark Andrews, one of the top 3, seems fair, tight ends in the NFL. Brown's your vertical threat. I like what Bateman brings you. Devin Duvernay's played well before he got hurt. Wallace, Watkins, Proche, Boykin. You don't really need Watkins after this year. It's not productive the way you want. I kind of want to blame Greg Roman for that. I don't love his offensive design, but I think you've seen flashes from this young wide receiver core to make you feel good about the future in Baltimore. So grade the Ravens wide receiver core for me this year, and I'm very curious how you guys assign your grades. A, B, C, D, or F. I'd say focus on the young guys. I don't care about Sammy Watkins. Let me know what you think in the comments. By the way, thank all of you for getting us to 2,500 subscribers here on Ravens Rundown, but that's not where we want to end. We're not satisfied with just getting that figure. We want to add some more zeros to the back end of that. So if you want more free videos on the Ravens, hit that big red button and subscribe today. I want to spend some time now on Don Martindale. In light of the Jacksonville Jags beginning their head coaching search, Don Martindale, and I'll show you why I know this to be a fact. Don Martindale desperately and really, really, really badly wants to be an NFL head coach. That is very clear from the moves his camp has made within the media. Now, he had been linked to the Jags job, but the Ravens defense is struggling, although I would blame the injuries more so than that for Martindale being a bad coach. When you're down to Daryl Worley, when you're down to like your 7th cornerback option, you're in for a bad time. So what is the percent chance that you think Don Wink Martindale is a head coach next year? I think it's low, but I want to hear from you. What do you guys have to say in the comments section? I bring this up for this reason. Ian Rappaport has done this 3 years in a row, and I think it comes straight from Don Martindale's agent. 2019, Don Martindale's a top candidate for head coaching carousel. He's going to bring in Joe Brady as the OC. 2020, Don Martindale's top head coaching candidate. He's going to bring in Tony Elliott as the OC. Of course, neither of those things happened. When Urban Meyer got fired, hey, Don Martindale's going to be a top candidate for the Jags job because it's the same defense. And guess what's happened? The Jags haven't requested to interview Don Martindale. I don't think there's that much interest in Martindale. And I think his agent has tried to drum that up. He had 0 interviews last year. The Jags looking at Todd Bowles of the Bucks, Jim Caldwell of the Lions, Matt Eberflus of the Colts, a couple DCs on that list, Nathaniel Hackett of the Packers, Cowboys DC Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, Byron Leftwich, Doug Peterson. No Don Martindale, at least not yet. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world for the Ravens because I think it's a great DC. Keep him, that's great, but I don't care for the what I consider to be fairly obvious attempted networking to get yourself that head coaching job when at a certain point, Rappaport, stop sending the same tweet every year. And for the Ravens, it's fine. Let Martindale be a great DC in Baltimore.